Okay, good evening. Welcome to Study Skills. So this is preparing for an interview. Learning outcome 4, recognising areas for improvement in interview skills. So my name's Emma Honeyford. I'm going to go on to the first slide. So for learning outcome 4.1, so this is all around strengths and areas for improvement in my interview preparation and performance. So it's really important when we review our preparation and the way that we perform during role play interviews, a few things really start to stand out quite clearly. So we can identify at least one strong area and one area where I can improve. So we can always look for ways to get better, and there's always ways for us to look at improving our interview techniques. So this is an example of a particular strength within a role play interview. So confident communication and structured answers. So one of my strongest points was the way I communicate my answers. I stayed calm, spoke clearly, and kept a steady tone throughout both interviews. I used structured examples when responding to questions, especially in the formal interview. So using the STAR method, so we spoke about the STAR method in the previous 2 sessions, it's really helpful because it allows us to notice a massive difference when we go off track, and ensures that my answers were relevant and easy to follow. So using the STAR method does make a noticeable difference, as it keeps us really focused and gives us structure to our answers. So another strength was around my maintaining eye contact and using positive body language, which supports what I am saying. So I guess when you're delivering a message, if you deliver it with positive body language, it helps the delivery of that message. So overall, I communicated in a way that showed confidence and preparation, because your verbal communication skills were positive, and also the preparation in using the STAR method gave the answer structure. So that's 2 positives there. So areas for improvement. So we can always improve. I think feedback is a gift, especially in interviews. So it's not, it's a learning process, and we can always get better. We don't have to be perfect straight away. So the main area that I found I need to improve is hesitating before answering certain questions. In a few moments, especially when unexpected questions came up, I paused for too long while trying to think of the perfect answer. This sometimes made me sound unsure, even though I knew the answer. And I guess that does come from nerves, which is perfectly understandable, but it's just to be aware of this, and that preparation will put you in good stead for that as well, for interviews. So I realised that I tend to overthink during interviews because I want to say everything correctly. So I guess when you focus too much on giving the perfect answer, you then can have like paralysis analysis, in which you just don't say maybe anything, or you take too long to answer the question. So to improve this, so ways we can improve this scenario, we can practice answering a wide range of questions, focus on keeping answers straightforward, and trust the examples I have already prepared. So that's the kind of the positive of the preparation will allow for this not to be a problem. If you're prepared and you've kind of already anticipated what questions that potentially may be asked, you will have them there written out, so you can refer to them quite easily then. So this is all about practice, so we can respond more naturally and confidently without long pauses if we've had that practice through the role plays. So it's positive, and being prepared and practicing for this will make us feel safe. So learning outcome 4.2, so understanding strengths and areas for improvement based on the feedback received. So after completing the role play interviews, we can review the feedback given by the assessor. So this helps me understand how my performance comes across to ensure observing me and what I need to continue to work on. So as I've mentioned already, feedback is a gift. It's an opportunity to get better. And we should always see this as a positive thing as opposed to a negative experience. So strength highlighted in feedback, so positive body language and engagement. So one of the main strengths identified in the feedback was my body language. I maintained good eye contact, sat upright, and used open posture throughout the interviews. The feedback mentioned that I came across as engaged, confident, and genuinely interested in the conversation. I also used natural facial expressions and nodded while listening, which showed that I was paying attention and processing what the interviewer was saying. So there's those non-verbal cues. Do you remember we spoken about those at length in the last week in the previous sessions? So understanding the verbal and non-verbal types of communication will be really helpful. So this strengthens the overall impression I made and supported my verbal answers effectively. So areas for improvement highlighted in feedback, expanding answers with more detail. So here's an example of some feedback. So the feedback also pointed out an area for improvement. Although my answers were clear, I could add more detail in some responses, especially when giving examples. So at times, if we do keep examples too short, it can mean that we don't fully demonstrate those skills that we do have or experience. So it is important, whilst to keep the examples short and concise, it's also important to have the detail in the responses. You can get across how you're suitable for the position. You don't want to miss any opportunities to sing about all the wonderful things that you're capable of. So the suggestion was to expand slightly more by explaining the results or outcomes of my actions, rather than stopping at the basic descriptions. So you're not just talking about what you did. So thinking back to the STAR method again, you're talking about the impact of your action. So because of a certain behaviour or competency or skill that you have, you took the correct action, which resulted in positive impacts for the organisation. So this really helps the interviewer to see the full impact of my contribution. So that is a really good way to prepare for an interview. So to improve, we can practice adding one or more two sentences that explain what happened as a result of my actions. This keeps my answers focused, but gives the interviewer a strong picture of my abilities. So you're in being really clear about the result because of the action that you took in a particular scenario, really kind of demonstrates to the potential employer what you are capable of. Okay, so we've now come to the end. So here is the Harvard references that's been used for these slides, and these are really helpful. I definitely recommend having a look at these. And again, the plenary, so if you want to do any further reading, you can have a look on Moodle for any ebooks and journals. Reading does help massively, improving the knowledge and understanding what you need to do for an interview will really help your success within an interview for sure. So again, any queries, questions, please kindly email the learnerwork@ukversity.co.uk email address. Submission of the assignment for this unit is to be done and sent to the same email address, learnerwork@ukversity.co.uk. So the assignment submission is due 2 weeks of the completion of the units and its delivery. So that is looking like this time next week. Okay, so thank you so much and have a nice evening. Bye-bye.